Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Big thank you to everyone that jumped on the live yesterday. It was fun. We haven't done one of those in ages. Used to do them all the time, but they are now back. That wasn't a one and done. They're back every single week. Ideally on a Sunday, but if we can't do it on a Sunday, we'll do it on a Monday, but I'll let you guys know way in advance. All right, let's see what there is to talk about today. Quite a lot to talk about, people. Let's start here. David Benavidez won't return to £168 for Terence Crawford. That reads wrong. That should really read, David Benavidez won't return to £168. That makes it almost sound like I'm ducking Crawford. Benavidez ain't ducking Crawford. Benavidez is just now a fully fledged 175-pounder. He's a big boy. He's a very, very big boy. No idea how he made £168. I did the face-off for Yard Benavidez, and even Yard was saying he's big. Like, he's a big boy. So yeah, that's done. That idea of £168 is done. And plus, there are a number of big fights he can have £175. Like, the only big fight for him at 168, the reason he was trying to stay around was Canelo. As soon as he realized that weren't going to happen, to 175. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Beterbiev, if he can get obviously past Yard. There's a lot of talk about Bivol. Callum Smith's around as well. There's a few other Brits. So there's a lot of money to be made at £175. I actually think he'll get to cruiserweight soon. I'm not even joking. And that doesn't sound as crazy as it maybe first kind of comes across. When you think about it, I mean, look at Ramirez, Zerdo. I mean, that was a guy, again, super middleweight, who's now a cruiserweight and he's a champion. Arguably the second best cruiserweight out there. And then, I mean, Oscar was even talking about Zerdo going to heavyweight. So, I mean, sometimes you got to trust your body, listen to your body. If you're growing out of a weight class, just go. But yeah, look, let's see what he can do against Yard first. I think that's going to be an interesting fight. I don't know if the power that we saw at 168 has carried itself to 175. Don't get me wrong, I think he's favourite for that fight, but I do think Yard's going to cause him a few problems. I do. I think a lot of people seem to think this is one-way traffic. I don't know about that. Honestly, I don't know about that. I think there's some twists and turns in that fight. Yard's a problem. I think we saw it against Beterbiev. I mean, remember, that was fight of the year over here. Yard can crack, and he's very big himself. He's now experienced. And look, I was thinking about this the other day with regards to Yard. There probably is. I just don't know the history of the sport like that. But there can't be, in my lifetime anyway, a fighter that has had it so difficult in fighting for a world title. I mean, his first fight, Kovalev, Russia. His second fight, Beterbiev. And now his third crack at a world title, Benavidez. How unlucky do you have to be? You know how many world champions there are that have, again, no disrespect to them, but have fought nobody to become a world champion. And that's what Yards had to go through. Murderer's fucking row. But yeah, I'm going to do a video, an early thoughts video with G-Man a bit later about that fight, because I don't think, again, it's as one-way traffic as maybe some people are viewing it. Retirement not in Chris Eubank's mind as he looks ahead to Conor Benn rematch. Eubank now, what, 36? I don't know. If it's not in his mind, and look, his favourite to beat Conor again, what are the plans? Who is out there at 168 that he's thinking about, okay, this is still a fight. This is still opportunity to make loads of that. Because again, I don't necessarily think it's world titles with Chris. It's about that. Sometimes world titles equal that, but I don't know. I mean, the obvious options, there's three in my head. One of them becomes very difficult because of his trainer situation. So let's get to the first one first, Terence Crawford. Now, as silly as that might sound, as undeserving as Chris is, to fight Terence Crawford, if it makes money, it makes sense. And Crawford versus Chris Eubank over here makes a lot of money, so it makes a lot of sense. But Bomac is a bit of an issue. Although Chris, who switches trainers all the time, can just go back to Jonathan Banks. Canelo. I mean, there's this Canelo thing about Canelo fighting here, and it's been spoken about for years. Who knows? Canelo might want to do a world tour. If he doesn't mind stopping off at Arsenal or Tottenham or Wembley, I think Chris is not the worst dance partner. And Hamza Shiraz, who out of the three is obviously sort of the less financial rewarding. But Turkey loves Hamza Shiraz, and I'm sure if Chris was agreeable, that makes sense, if Chris agreed to fight Hamza Shiraz, then I think Turkey would pay both of them quite well. So there are options for Chris Eubank Jr. if he doesn't retire. All right, let's talk about the big news. You guys didn't come on this video to hear about any other stuff. You came to hear about Ben Whittaker at signing with Matchroom. Now, I spoke about it a bit on the live that I did yesterday, and it weirdly broke, the news broke about 20 minutes before my live. I was like, huh? I was going to talk about my event in Nigeria. I was going to talk about Boxer signing this deal with Riyadh Season. I was going to talk about Matchroom signing this deal with Riyadh Season. All of a sudden, Ben Whittaker signs for Matchroom, and I'm like, oh my God, it kind of threw me off a little bit. Firstly, the first person that came to my mind when this happened was Ben Shalom. I was like, shit, you've just lost your prized possession. And it is his prized possession. I mean, Boxer does have some talent. Fraser Clark is talented, can put bums on seats. Adam Azim is talented, can put bums on seats. Callum Simpson, there's a few. Lauren Price, Caroline Dubois. But the jewel in that crown for me is Ben Whittaker. He's the one that crosses over to the casuals. You look at his social media, like he's got, I think he's nearly got 4 million Instagram followers. And a lot of you are like, oh, that doesn't count. It does count. It means something. It means he's crossed over. It means that it isn't just the eyes of boxing people that are looking at him. And that can't be said about the other guys and girls I just mentioned. He's almost a superstar in waiting. I don't want to say he's a superstar yet because I almost want to see both of these worlds collide. So what you do in the ring and what you do out the ring. What you do out the ring is working. What you do in the ring needs to get better. It does. But Ben Shalom has lost his jewel in the crown. So I was thinking about him. Plus, Ben Shalom posted something on Ring Magazine, didn't he? I think he said something about Ben Whittaker back in November. So he clearly had plans for Ben. Like, Ben was in his plans. Like, when he approached BBC with this deal, he would have, showed them the talent roster, and Ben would have been front and center. We've got Ben Whittaker. Ben Whittaker can go on Strictly Come Dancing because Ben's got the Ben can do all this stuff. Like, Ben would have been the big push and the big sell. Ben's gone. Yeah, it's not good, is it? It's not good. As for Eddie is smiling from ear to ear. Eddie needs that big star. You look at the Matchroom stable, it's a big stable. And I think people seem to get fixated with looking at the stable from a UK standpoint. You've got to look at the stable as a global standpoint now because Eddie's how many shows has Eddie done in America? Over 100, well over 100. So you've got to look at it as a global stable. And they've got some incredible fighters in that stable. How many stars, how many superstars do they have? Crossover stars that they have in that stable? Not many. Ben ticks that box. Now, I know Ben seems to get a lot of sticks. Some people like him. Some people don't like him. That's a great position to be in. Great. I did a video the other day about James DeGale, and I was like, James DeGale was kind of like in the middle. People weren't sure about him. Ben has haters, and he's got people that like him. So you're going to tune in to see him win, or you're going to tune in to see him get chinned. But you're going to tune in. It's a great position to be in. There's this weird narrative surrounding Ben that he's shit. It blows my mind. It really does. Look at him against Liam Cameron. He quit. And look, all those things could be true, right? The Liam Cameron thing. No one will know about that apart from Ben. Deep down, Ben's the only one that knows. We're all just guessing. But why is it in boxing, one bad performance and you're done? You're done in the eyes of the public. It's kind of crazy. And I used to be a bit like that as well. I used to say things like that. But now, maybe being in the sport, being around the boxers, I'm like, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt a bit more. Like, there's no other sport in the world where you lose once and that's it. Like, boxing is literally, you lose once, you're kind of done. It's kind of crazy. Ben didn't look good against Liam Cameron. In fact, looked awful. Second time round, okay, let's run it back. Looked really good. Looked really good. With Andy Lee, there's going to be improvements. That was the first camp with Andy Lee. I'm giving Ben the benefit of the doubt. I still think he is uber talented. I really do. My only concern with Ben is the weight class. Like, Ben's a big boy. I've been around Ben. I've been around other light heavies. He's probably as big as Callum Smith. He's a big light heavyweight. Big light heavyweight. One of the biggest light heavyweights out there. So staying within the division might be a problem. Hence why I guess he always walks around in shape. Always in shape. Because making 175 cannot be easy for him. But if he can continue to make 175, then Matchroom do have someone on their hands. They have. I loved the video announcement. I fucking loved it. Show me the money. That was just perfect, wasn't it? Perfect. That was promotion 101. Like, shout out to Alex Haynes, who does all of Matchroom's media stuff. I mean, they nailed that. They absolutely nailed it. And credit to Ben and to Eddie playing the parts as well. That's what Ben's about. You know, when I was watching that video, I was thinking, who else could do that in the UK? The only person, Tyson Fury. I can't think of any other boxer that would do that. Honestly, I can't think of any other boxer that would have the personality to be able to pull that off. And that's what Ben's got. That's what he's got. So look, Matchroom have got their guy. They've been speaking about Ben Whittaker for ages. They wanted to sign him prior to Boxer signing him. Boxer just put a truckload of money in front of him. 258 management must be so upset because they had Ben Whittaker, didn't they? They had Ben Whittaker. But look, I think it's a good thing. One thing I will say, Eddie, if you're watching this, we won't accept welcome to Matchroom gimme fight. No. Sorry, no. Ben's like an Olympic silver medalist. Ben is coming off a really, really good win. Career best win against Liam Cameron. It needs to be this way. And let me see. Let's just chuck out a few names. 1 second. Let's have a look at sort of domestically. Let's not go internationally yet. Let's look domestically at the kind of top 15. Let's go to BoxRec and let's have a look at it that way. All right, so they've got number 1 is Callum Smith, Boatsi, Yard, Zach Parker. Obviously, Boatsi fights Zach Parker. Willie Hutchinson just had a fight Craig Richards. Ezra Taylor's been linked. Ezra Taylor fights Lewis Edmondson. Lyndon Arthur, I think he's got a fight coming up. But look at there's so many names here. So many. Dan Aziz is coming off a good victory in Nigeria. There's so many names he can fight. Of these names, I would go Craig Richards immediately. The public know him. Craig still has, I think, a lot to offer. Craig would take that fight just like that. There are names. Let's go. Let's go. What are we waiting for? Let's see how good he is. Again, I just said, outside the ring, sensational. Inside the ring's got a match. If he can match the two, then we have a star. And that's all I care about, by the way. Like, I just want to see British boxing have stars. Like, ultimately, guys, we're coming to an end of the era when it comes to AJ and Fury and Chisora, White, we know. Like, all those guys that have entertained us for the last 10 years and sold out stadiums and arenas, they're done. So we need to find the next one. So you guys can all, you know, if you do not like Ben Whittaker, which I kind of get because he can sort of rub people up the wrong way, we need stars over here. And Ben Whittaker, alongside Moses Italma, are those two stars, I think. There are others, but those are the big ones, I believe. And maybe you chuck in an Adam Azim. If Dalton Smith can beat Matthias, maybe he's that star up north. We need stars, and I think Ben could certainly be that one. So, yeah, look, happy for Ben. Disappointed for Ben Shalom. And congratulations to Matchroom as well, because they've not only just signed someone, but I'd love the way they've gone full in with the announcement of signing him as well. I think it looks really, really good. All right. Is there anything? Frank Warren, confident Tyson Fury will return in 2026. Okay, that needs a separate video. Frank clearly knows something that we don't know. There's clearly been a conversation. We'll end on this one. Bakadeh Jalolov wins, but fails to impress against Vitaly Kudakov. Jalolov is a strange case of what the fuck are we doing? Like, this is a guy that has fights as a pro, then goes back and wins Olympic gold as an amateur, which for me is almost cheating. I'm sorry, that shouldn't be allowed. And then has this, I think it was an IBA fight. I just don't know what he's doing. How old is Jalolov? I don't know what he's doing in his career, because everyone's very high on him. But then if you watch that performance, it was awful. Jalolov is 31. Double Olympic gold medalist. Again, just weirdly has pro fights, then those kind of weird like World Boxing Super Series pro amateur fights, then has amateur fights, does all this at the same time. Strange, but clearly considered a force. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still wouldn't chuck my top guy in with him, but maybe he isn't as good as I thought he was. Anyway, guys, girls, we are done.